The calendar has turned to October, yet we can already start thinking about bowl eligibility around college football. During the Week 6 slate, a trio of programs, Indiana, Duke, and Miami, in that order, have an opportunity to secure a sixth win. That conversation will become more prevalent in the near future also. Beyond that, it's an interesting set of games on the schedule. The lone top 25 matchup sends Missouri to Texas A&M. But don't mistake the lack of an enormous national clash with a quiet weekend. Every ranked team in action is playing a conference game. The stage is set for upsets. How many will happen? Find out now with the Week 6 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. Hey there, welcome everyone to the Week 6 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. And we got 17 games on the docket for this week. 2 Friday games, not one, but 2 Friday night games tomorrow night. And then 15 more on Saturday for a total of 17. So with all that being said, gentlemen, let's dive on in to the first of our 2 Friday night games, as it will feature the number 6 Oregon Ducks back at home at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, and they're going to be welcoming the Michigan State Spartans to town. This game will be seen on Fox, and it will be Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, and Allison Williams on the call. Oregon opening up as a 23.5-point favorite. The first year of the Jonathan Smith era is going fine for Michigan State, but that does not mean the Spartans are ready to compete with the best teams, as evidenced by last weekend's 38-7 loss to Ohio State at home. Now you're going to Eugene. Yeah, they're going to get smashed again. Easy win for Oregon. 43-17, Oregon, all over Michigan State. Not much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. First of 2 Friday night games tomorrow night. Number 6, Oregon, hosting Michigan State in Eugene to kick off the week number 6 slate. So MF, if you're there, let's get your thoughts on number 6 Oregon and Michigan State there. Well,
sure.
Okay.
Sure. Look, it's going to be an interesting matchup, but Michigan State really laid an egg, if you remember, against Ohio State last week. And Ohio State had their time against them. You had their way against Michigan State. And I hate to say this, but I think it's going to be just as bad because it's Oregon. I just don't feel like Oregon and Ohio State right now are on a collision course. If you really think about it, they are the 2 best teams in the Big Ten right now. So, to be real honest with you, I don't see Oregon getting tested. I don't think Oregon's going to be threatened. And I think Oregon is going to easily defeat Michigan State on Saturday. So give me Oregon to knock off Michigan State. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an easy victory for Oregon over Michigan State here. I mean, they should be able to handle their business. So Oregon wins. They should handle their business. So let's move on to the next game.
The other Friday night game. By the way, both of these games will both be kicking off at the same time. They will both be kicking off at 9 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock start. Not just Michigan State and number 6 Oregon, but our other Friday night matchup. Look who's in the top 25, gentlemen. How about this? The UNLV Rebels, formerly the UNLV Running Rebs. And this is the sleeper game of the week right here. They're going to be welcoming the Syracuse Orange to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The game is on FS1. Fox Sports 1. And for that game, it will be Trent Rush and Petros Papadakis on the call. UNLV opening up as a 6.5-point favorite. MF, look at this sleeper matchup. Number 25 UNLV hosting a fairly decent Syracuse team. Wow.
Yeah, and Syracuse, it does definitely can pull an upset or two along the way if they really get their act together. They've been playing really damn good lately. But it is UNLV. And look, the Revs did it. They got to the top 25. Normally you don't necessarily hear about them doing it, but the way they've been playing right now in the NWC, they are number one right now. They are absolutely looking really good. And of course, Syracuse, you got to think about them. The Orange is 3-1. They coming off an easy victory over Holy Cross last week. The only hiccup that they had up to this point, if everybody remembers, was that tough luck loss that they had against Stanford. But other than that, they've been pretty well. But I hate to say it, but the schedule gets a little difficulty for Syracuse. So, but I kind of feel like UNLV should be able to get the job done. They should be able to eke this one out, even though I think it's going to be a little bit of a dogfight. But I got the UNLV Rebels winning this game pretty close. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I think Syracuse could give UNLV a little bit of a challenge here, but I think I think it's going to be close. But I think at the end of the day, I think UNLV will eke out a win here. So give me a UNLV to win. It's yours, Florio.
After a chaotic week, UNLV smashed Fresno State 59-14 with new quarterback Haj Malik Williams. He threw for 182 yards, rushed for 119 more, and totaled 4 touchdowns. Whether the Rebels can maintain that emotional high is a fair question. And Syracuse has a dangerous offense led by former Ohio State quarterback Kyle McCord. UNLV's balance, though, should be too much for Cuse's defense, if I'm being honest. So this is actually going to be a fun game, if I'm going to be honest with you. High scoring affair, but considering it's at Allegiant, I got to give a slight edge to UNLV as well. I got UNLV winning this matchup. Final score for me, 38-31, UNLV over Syracuse. And now we move on to the Saturday slate of week number 6. The first of only 3 12 noon games. We only have 3 noon games here. And we're going to start it off with Big Noon Saturday on Fox. The number 7 Penn State Nittany Lions. Once again at home at Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley. And they're going to be welcoming the UCLA Bruins to Happy Valley. Big Noon Saturday. Of course, you know who's working that as always. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, the All-American girl, Jenny Taft. Penn State opening up as a 27.5-point favorite. Michael Bullock, you started off. Number 7, Penn State hosting UCLA.
Yeah, I think this should be an easy day for Penn State. Yeah, when you got that big crowd there at Beaver Stadium, yeah, UCLA is. Yeah, it's not going to be not going to be a good day for the Bruins. So, give me the Nittany Lions to win this one. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Great game between Illinois and Penn State last week. Penn State eked it out like we figured they would. No surprise. Penn State is second in the Big Ten with 11.5 points allowed a game, while UCLA ranks last in the conference at 14.8 scored a game. I would be straight up shocked if an overmatched UCLA team wins a noon kickoff. So I don't know what else there is left for me to say on this. Easy win for Penn State. I'm with Bullock on this one. 42-10. Penn State all over UCLA. MF, your thoughts?
I cannot disagree with anything that you guys have just said. I'm also in an agreement here. I'm going with the Penn State Nittany Lions to win this game and win this pretty comfortably. So, Anthony, it's yours.
All righty. And we move on to, I'll be honest with you, you could call this the default game of the week because this is the only game that features ranked teams against each other. The number 9 Missouri Tigers on the road against, we actually have 2 number 25s. We got co-number 25s here, guys. First one was UNLV, but in this game, it's the number 9 Missouri Tigers going up against the co-number 25 Texas A&M Aggies. Kyle Field in College Station. This game will be over on ABC. And on the call for this game, the voice of Monday Night Raw, Mr. Joe Tessitore, alongside of, for the second week in a row, Jordan Rogers in for Jesse Palmer. So it'll be Joe Tessitore, Jordan Rogers, and Katie George. They will have the call of that game. And Texas A&M opening up as a 2.5-point favorite here. No question about it. This is easily the toughest game to call. Really, it is. Connor Weigman is dealing with a shoulder injury, so Marcel Reed may continue starting for Texas A&M. Missouri has played a couple of dual-threat quarterbacks recently, shutting down Boston College's Thomas Castellanos, but struggling with Vanderbilt's Diego Pavia. The lessons learned in those contests can help Mizzou overcome the home field advantage that has made A&M a slight betting favorite. This literally can go either way, but because of the quarterback issue, I got to give the slight edge to Missouri here. But I would not at all be surprised if A&M were to somehow win this. So I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to go with Missouri to win this one. My final score, 24-20. Missouri steals one at Kyle Field in what should be a great game on Saturday afternoon. So 24-20 Missouri over Texas A&M. MF, your thoughts on our default game of the week, number 9 Missouri against number 25 Texas A&M.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a really good game. This is like you even said, this is going to be a tough game to call. I totally agree with that. I believe that I'm also going to go Missouri, and I think it's going to be a very close game. So I really got nothing more to say. So yeah, it is totally yours, Bullock.
Yeah, I think Texas A&M will make it close. I mean, because it is at Kyle Field, but at the end of the day, Missouri's just too good. So give me the Missouri Tigers to win this one. So on to the next game for you.
All right. And it's our third and final 12 noon game. The now number 22 Louisville Cardinals back at home at L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium in Louisville. And they're going to be welcoming a very tough opponent coming in, the SMU Mustangs. And you can find this game over on ESPN. And on the call for this game, it will be, I do believe this is, yes, it is. It's going to be Bob Wischusen, Lewis Riddick, and Chris Budden. They will have the call for this one. And the spread favors Louisville. Louisville opening up as a 6.5-point favorite. OMF, Louisville. They got a tough SMU team coming in, and you might have to consider this somewhat of a must-win for Louisville after that tough loss at Notre Dame last week. What a game that was.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like Notre Dame I don't know. I thought that they were kind of partially playing with their food here, man. I was expecting Notre Dame to crush Louisville, and Louisville hung tough on them. So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is, but we'll see how it plays out. But, yeah, I'm with you on this one. This one's going to be an interesting matchup. It's going to be a great game, to say the very least. But I don't know. I feel like Louisville's going to lose this one, too. That's why I think Louisville's going to come up a little short. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
So you're calling for the upset, Fletch?
I'm calling for the upset, yes.
Well, It could happen. It could happen. I mean, I see this being close to the all the way through, but I just think at the end, I think Louisville will just eke out a win here. So our first disagreement of the night. So Florio, the obvious question: Do you go with me and the and Louisville, or do you go with Fletch for the upset?
Well, let me give you my thoughts, and then I'll tell you who I have. Following an ugly start, SMU has settled its quarterback conundrum with Kevin Jennings. The offense has scored 10 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. Louisville is stout enough defensively to slow that momentum, and being back at home helps. Bullock, I'm actually going to go with you. I'm going to go with Louisville, but a mistake-plagued loss to Notre Dame last week certainly is a concern opposite an SMU defense that is tied for the most takeaways in the nation. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but I'm sorry, MF, you're on your own on this one. I agree with Michael Bullock on this one. I got Louisville winning, but it's going to be close. 37-34. Louisville outlasts SMU on Saturday. So with that, we're going to move on to our 3:30 games. And go figure, we have more 3:30 games than noon games. We only had 3 noon games. In this 3:30 window, we've got 4. And all of them are, not the most exciting, but they are, halfway decent. I'll be honest. We're going to kick off the 3:30 slate of action with the Big Ten on CBS, as it will feature the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes back at home at the Horseshoe Ohio Stadium in Columbus. But they're going to be welcoming the Iowa Hawkeyes. Ooh, good one here. Big Ten on CBS, you know who's working that as always. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jenny Dell. They'll be in the Horseshoe for this one. And Ohio State opening up as a 19.5-point favorite. So I believe Michael Bullock starts this one off. So Bullock, number 3, Ohio State, fresh off a 38-7 smashing of Michigan State and East Lansing last week. They're back at home. They got Iowa coming in for the Big Ten on CBS.
Yeah, I mean, that was another really good, impressive win for Ohio State last week, and I do expect them to continue this one here. So Ohio State will continue to roll. So give me the Buckeyes to win this one. So it's yours, Florio. You there, Florio? I don't know, Fletch. I mean, did we lose him?
Hold on. Just give him a second because he might have just stepped away for a moment. I don't think he expected you to be so fast with the thing unless his computer froze up. So just give him a second or two. Maybe he might have. That's what it is. It probably froze. So you had to back out and then he'll get back in. All right. So
I
for the
guess that
moment,
means you're taking it first spin.
yeah. So for the moment, I'm going to give it. Look, the matchup is a pretty easy matchup. I think we all can openly admit that there shouldn't be that much of a threat when it comes to Ohio State. The way they've been playing right now has been absolutely amazing. And yeah, I think anybody who thinks that they're going to be a major threat here most likely will not. So I'm in agreement with you, Michael Bullock. I'm going with Ohio State as well. Anthony, welcome back. We were just basically, I just took it for a spin and gave my 2 cents. So you can go with your analysis and everything else.
As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by the connection droppage.
Yeah, that's okay. You're good. We got you.
Flip the setting to Iowa City, and this is a prototypical Kinnick Stadium upset. Unfortunately for the Hawkeyes, they're on the road. Ohio State's run defense showed a few cracks against Marshall 2 weeks ago, But the Buckeyes will probably stack the box and dare Iowa to throw. Ohio State wins comfortably. I'll say they'll win 30-10. I'm going to go 30-10. Ohio State holds off Iowa. Our next 3:30 matchup, and it features the number 5, the now number 5, made in Georgia Bulldogs, back at home at Sanford Stadium in Athens in the Hedges, and they're going to be welcoming the Auburn Tigers, and we know this history. Oh, do we know this history? It's Auburn and Georgia on ABC. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath, they will be on the call for this one. Georgia opening up as a 22.5-point favorite. And MF, Auburn. Auburn gave Oklahoma some big-time fits a week ago, but Oklahoma ultimately stole one at Jordan-Hare last week. Georgia, though, Georgia and Alabama, we hyped it as the game of the year, and damn it to hell it was. What a game. But Georgia, so close yet so far away. They're back at home. As you always say, I think they're going to be spitting kittens and bringing out the tiki torches and the pitchforks in this one.
Uga got a little extra sharpened. They sharpened his teeth a little more because this dog is about to bite some Auburn Tigers. I'm gonna say it right now. This is going to be a massacre. This is going to be a bloodbath. They are literally hopping mad because they know they let one get away. There was a moment where they had Alabama in Tuscaloosa before Alabama got that game-winning touchdown and basically cemented that victory. But Georgia came all the way back after getting blown out early on. They were going to get ran out of that building. They were down 21-0 at one point before they started making their comeback. But when they did, Georgia turned the game on its head, and Alabama fans were like, "Uh-oh, what is going on?" Then Georgia took the lead, but that lead only lasted about, I think they said 13 seconds before Alabama struck and got the lead back, and they never looked back after that. So if I'm Georgia, I'm like, I remember that loss. We'll see you again. And maybe we might even see you at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Well, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta for the SEC championship game again. We'll see if that happens. But we gotta wait and see. But I think Georgia's gonna win this game, man. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
What game are we talking about?
It's Auburn versus number 5 Georgia, Bullock, and I'll give you credit because when going into the new poll release, you said that Georgia was going to stay in the top 5, and yet here they are, number 5.
Yeah, and I said that because look, it's not like they got blown out, and I'm sure they will take somewhat of a hit, but not a big hit, and that was the case to the point they stayed in the top 5. So yeah, tough loss for them last week, but I do expect them to bounce back here. So give me the Bulldogs as well. So it's yours, Florio.
Even though Auburn has looked rough so far, Georgia knows better. Georgia knows better than to discount the rivalry. While last year's tilt happened at Auburn, Georgia nearly lost to a roster that finished 6-7. Plus, the Dogs just fell to Alabama in heartbreaking fashion in what has been the game of the year up to this point. Georgia should dominate this game, though. Georgia wins this one. It's not going to be an overwhelming rout, but I think they'll win comfortably, like Ohio State against Iowa. I'm going to say 34-16. Georgia bounces back and knocks off Auburn. Our next 3:30 matchup, another sleeper matchup. The theme of this week is sleeper matchups, guys. This game on ESPN at 3:30, staying in the SEC, as it will feature the now number 12 Ole Miss Rebels on the road against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. And like I said, this game is over on ESPN. And on the call for this game, it will be Dave Patch along with Dusty Dvoracek. Ole Miss opening up as an 8.5-point favorite. I believe this goes to Bullock. So Bullock, Ole Miss. How in the world are they going to bounce back after that demoralizing upset loss to Kentucky last week? They got to go on the road against South Carolina. Trap game. Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah, I smell a trap here. I mean, South Carolina, I think, is a team you don't want to mess around with. And I'm sure Ole Miss would have preferred someone else, another team that would have been a get-right game. But I don't think this is going to be anything but that. But I will go with Ole Miss to win, but it is going to be very, very close here because South Carolina will definitely give Ole Miss some fits here. So nothing more to say. Ole Miss wins, but South Carolina is really going to make a game of it. So it's yours, Florio.
They certainly will, Bullock. Play a transitive game and you'll lean toward the hosts. South Carolina annihilated Kentucky on the road, and Ole Miss fell to Kentucky at home last week. South Carolina fans probably feel optimistic with the potential returns of quarterback Lenora Sellers and running back Rocket Sanders. Understandable. But I can't yet go against Ole Miss's firepower. But the Gamecocks are undeniably built to spring an upset in their own building. Close game, but I think Ole Miss is gonna eke it out. I'm gonna take a chance and go with Ole Miss in this one. 27-22. Ole Miss holds off a very game South Carolina team at Williams-Brice, and they'll bounce back after that tough loss to Kentucky at home last week. So not much more to say. MF. Ole Miss. Last week they were 6. They bumped down to 12 after getting embarrassed by Kentucky at home last week. Now you got to go to South Carolina. Not going to be easy, but I think Ole Miss will eke it out. What says you?
This is going to be a tough game. I kind of feel like Ole Miss is going to eke it out, but I would not be stunned if we see the upset again. If the upset bug does rear its ugly head. But I'm with you, Anthony. I'm going to partially agree and say Ole Miss wins. So nothing more to say.
Okay, and we move on to our final 3:30 kickoff. And it will be, well, looky who's in the top 25 here, guys. Give it up for the now number 23 Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana in the top 25. And they're going to be going on the road against the Northwestern Wildcats from Northwestern Medicine Field at Martin Stadium in Evanston, Illinois. You can find this game over on the Big Ten Network. And on the call for this game, it will be... Just give me 1 second here as I pull this up. Well, I'm just trying to find it in my announcer sheet here. Okay, I got it. Chris Vosters and Anthony Haran will be on the call for that. Indiana opening up as a 13.5-point favorite. So let's get into this one. Okay. Back in last December 2023, reporters asked Indiana head coach Kirk Cignetti how he sold the program to recruits after he had just taken over. It's pretty simple. I win. Google me. Fast forward to today, and the Hoosiers are 5-0 for the first time since 1967. I have absolutely no reason to pick against Indiana, especially since Northwestern's offense has looked lifeless so far. Indiana's going to go into Northwestern and smash them. 42-14. Indiana all over Northwestern. So not much more for me to say. MF, how about those number 23 Indiana Hoosiers? Time to put some respect on that name.
Yeah. No, most definitely. I'm respecting them. I think they've been doing an incredible job, and I think they're going to keep that that mojo going. Give me Indiana to win. Nothing more to say, Michael Boyd. It's yours.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it may be high time to put some respect into Indiana with the way they're playing right now, and I do expect them to continue this. So give me the Indiana Hoosiers to win. So let's move on to the next game, Florio.
All right. And just 1 second here. Just want to make sure we have the correct order here. All right. Actually, I think Bullock should have gone first on that last one, but that's okay. I think that little droppage really messed me up here. So, all right. I'm gonna take the wheel first for our next matchup here, as it will feature the new number 1 team in the land, the Alabama Crimson Tide, back at number 1, and they are going to be on the road against the Vanderbilt Commodores. First Bank Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. This will be a 4:15 p.m. kickoff over on the SEC network. And on the call for that game will be Tom Hart and Cole Kubelik. And Alabama opening up as a 23.5-point favorite. So I'm going to do a reset here. I'm going to take the reins for this first one here. So here we go. The post-Georgia hangover is possible. We're not talking down for the day. Silence your phone lethargy, though. Vanderbilt's offense must be respected, but it would take a stunning performance from the defense to actually send Alabama home stunned. Next victim, Roll Tide. Bama rolls all over Vandy. 45-17. Bama all over Vandy. So not much more to say. MF, Bama back at number 1, and now they're on the road against Vandy.
Yeah, and I'm in total agreement here. I kind of feeling the same way. I think Alabama's going to win this game and win this one pretty comfortably. So nothing more to say. And Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Alabama, they really made a statement last week against Georgia in that 5-star classic of a game here. I mean, but I'm sure they enjoyed the win, but I'm sure they were not happy with the way they played in that second half, because they were dominating that first half against Georgia, but it was still a nice statement win for them. And I do expect them to continue on this roll. So it's Roll Tide roll. So Alabama wins. It's yours, Florio.
And now we're going into the primetime games, gentlemen. We have 2 7 o'clock kickoffs. This first one here, I'm going to be honest with you. This was supposed to be one of the biggest games of the year, but unfortunately, not so much. When the schedule came out, definitely this game was supposed to be one of the biggest games of the year. The now number 15 Clemson Tigers on the road against the Florida State Seminoles. Bobby Bowden Field at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. This game can be found over on ESPN. And on the call for that game will be Mark Jones and Roddy Jones. And just give me 1 second here. Okay. And Clemson opening up as a 14.5-point favorite. MF, like I said, when the college football schedule came out, when we saw Clemson at Florida State on this schedule, we were so excited, thinking, "Oh, this could be a balance of power. This could be a potential ACC championship game preview." Clemson, they're doing what they're supposed to do, but what in the world happened to Florida State? My God, 1-4,
dude. I know. And remember, it all started in Ireland when Georgia Tech got them. When Georgia Tech upsetted them in Dublin. You remember that game. That was the downfall. And ever since then, they've been having loss after loss. The first game, the Georgia Tech, then I think Boston College beat them down, blew them out blew them out. And that's where you kind of started to feel like, what is going on in Florida State? You remember, there were already rumors about that they were looking to fire their head coach after the Georgia Tech game, and it got louder and louder and louder. And now there's a fire going on in Florida State. And I hate to say it, but Clemson is not going to make things even better for them on Saturday. Give me the Clemson Tigers to beat the Florida State Seminoles. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Yeah, like you said, Florida State, they just haven't been the same since Dublin when Georgia Tech got them. And you want to talk about going through some hard times. They definitely are right now. And Clemson is not going to make it any easier for them. So give me the Clemson Tigers to win this one. It's yours, Florio.
What seemed like a critical ACC matchup and revenge game for now Florida State quarterback DJ Uiagalelei will instead be neither of those things. Uiagalelei has struggled immensely and is now injured. And in his absence, the reeling Noles are turning to Brock Glenn. Florida State's horrible season is about to get worse against an ascending Clemson team. Clemson wins this one going away 45-17, Clemson all over Florida State. The other 7 o'clock game features the number 21 Boise State Broncos once again at home on the Smurf turf at Albertson Stadium in Boise. And they're going to be welcoming the Utah State Aggies. And this game can be found over on Fox Sports 2. Yeah, Fox Sports 2, not Fox Sports, not FS1, FS2. Eric Collins and Spencer Tillman will be on the call for this one. And Boise State opening up as a 27.5-point favorite. This one, I believe, goes to Michael Bullock. So Bullock, Utah, number 21, Boise State back at home on the old Smurf turf against Utah State.
Yes, they are back at home on the Smurf turf against Utah State, and I think Boise State should have no problem handling their business here. So give me the Boise State to win on the Smurf turf. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, it's going to be Boise. And here's the main reason why. Losers of 3 straight games, Utah State has allowed 5.1 yards a carry this season. Boise State running back Ashton Gianti has averaged a mind-numbing 10.3 per attempt. Did you hear that? 10.3 yards per attempt. Simple pick here. Boise all over Utah State. 45-24. Boise all over Utah State. So not much more to say. MF, your thoughts?
We've always been very high on Boise State for a number of years now.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that Boise State's doing really well. I really do. And I think that they're going to get the job done again. So give me Boise State to win. Lawyer, what's yours?
It's not often I say this, guys, but we have 4 7:30 kickoffs to get into.
Okay.
4 games and 4 games all kicking off at 7:30. 3 of them are on the Big 4 networks and 1 on cable. So let's start it off with the number 4, only fitting, number 4, Tennessee Volunteers on the road against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Donald W. Reynolds. Let me check the name of this again. Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville. Oh, by the way, it's the ABC Saturday night game of the week on top of that. And if it's that game, you know who's working this as always. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe. They will be in Arkansas. And Tennessee opening up as a 13.5-point favorite. It's Tennessee. I mean, Arkansas coach Sam Pittman could greatly use a marquee upset to bolster his job security. However, in all likelihood, the combination of an offense with multiple turnovers in 3 of Arkansas's 5 games and a vulnerable pass defense will doom the Hogs. Tennessee had an extra week to rest and prepare for this game also. I got Tennessee winning this one. I'm going to say they win this one 37-21. Tennessee goes into Arkansas and keeps up their winning ways. So, MF, last week, Arkansas, they took A&M to the limit at Jerry World. They came up just a little bit short. Now they got to deal with number 4 Tennessee. Oof.
Oh boy, not an easy game either. I'm with you. Give me the Volunteers. I think they're gonna hold serve at home on this one, and I do have them winning the game. So yeah, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock is yours.
Yeah, give me the Tennessee Volunteers to win this one. So yeah, there's really nothing more to add on to it. So it's on to our next 7:30 game.
Yes, indeed. And some breaking news from the NFL. Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video. This has far and away been the most exciting Thursday Night Football game of this young season. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. We're going to overtime, boys. Younghoe Koo just hit a 52-yard field goal at the gun to tie the game. We're going to OT, boys. What a game. 5 stars.
All right, here we go.
Yes, sir.
I mean, and the thing is, everybody slams and mocks how Thursday nights always end up being blowouts and everything else. This is why Jeff Bezos and the boys at Amazon got the NFL for games like this. Well done, guys. And who knew that New Orleans and Atlanta would be the game that gives
Tampa
us
Bay.
the most
Tampa Bay.
incredible drama here tonight.
You mean Tampa Bay and Atlanta?
Yes.
30-30. It's a 30-30 game as we go to overtime. We are most assuredly going to keep an eye on this 5-star Shakespearean drama classic, no doubt. All right, let's see. So we talked about Tennessee and Arkansas. So we move on now to. Oh, here we go. Here you go, boys. This is it. This is the game right here. In a way, you could say Missouri and Texas A&M technically is the game of the week because it's a ranked matchup. But for all intents and purposes, you could really make an argument that this is the real game of the week right here. The rematch of last year's college football playoff national championship game. The now number 10 Michigan Wolverines on the road against the Washington Huskies. Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium in Seattle. It's the Big Ten on NBC. Big Ten Saturday night on NBC, rather. And on the call for that, it'll be, of course, as always, Noah Eagle, along with Todd Blackledge and Catherine Tappan. And Washington, not only is Washington the favorite, they're actually the smallest favorite of the week. Washington opening up as a 1.5 point favorite. 1.5. That's it. And MF, it's only fitting you lead off on this one. The rematch of the national championship game back in January. We all saw it. Michigan smashed Washington 34-13 to win the national championship for the first time since 97. The rematch in Seattle and on a grand stage such as Big Ten Saturday night on NBC.
Yeah, and the way Michigan's been playing has been their ammo. Relying on an incredible defense, running the football, and basically limiting the opportunities of the opponent. And sometimes Michigan's defense has been a bend, not break, and they've bended a lot, but the levee has never broken. The one game that the levee broke on them was Texas, and Texas blew them out. But we noticed that Michigan has been playing on the razor's edge. basically teetering themselves almost over the edge a couple of times already this year. This is a game that Washington remembers. They got the circle on blood red because they feel like they let an opportunity get away. They felt like they could have won the national championship if it wasn't for certain things that went down in that game. If you're Michigan, this is the game you want to have the most complete performance. Offensively, with Alex Orji leading the way, you're going to have Coastal Loveland back. You will hope that Donovan Edwards, the Don, gets back to the way that he played in the national championship game, where he had 2 big touchdowns in that game. And then, of course, you got some of the newer guys. They need to step up in this game. Defensively, be prepared for anything. Swarming offense, swarming defense, get at the quarterback, do what you did in the national championship game. And I know that's a lot. These are different kids now, different men that played in the final that's with Michigan now. But you gotta remember, handle the business. You're gonna be at a hostile environment. Seattle is not a place you want to mess around in. So be ready, be prepared. But I do believe Michigan will get their statement win. And I do believe this will be their moment where they shine the brightest. The national champions will come through and win this game. Close, but I got Michigan winning. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, you know that Washington, they've been circling this for a long time, ever since January when they lost in that national championship game to Michigan, and now this time they're hosting it, and you know they're going to come out and be like, "Hey, we want our payback here," and I think they could get the. I mean, it could be close, but I think at the end of the day, I think Michigan will get the job done here. So give me Michigan to win. And Florida, we got breaking news. The Falcons win it in overtime.
Yes, they do. The Atlanta Falcons knocking off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 36-30 in overtime. They got the ball first. They took it all the way for a touchdown. So, unfortunately, Baker Mayfield is going to be the victim of, just like we saw in that epic divisional game with Buffalo and Kansas City a couple years ago. But humongous win for the Atlanta Falcons, 36-30. Mercedes-Benz Stadium has come unglued. Oh, you better believe we're gonna have quite a bit to say about this game tomorrow night on NFL Friday. What a way to start off Week 5, and one of the 3 huge. There was a triple main event on the NFC side of the ledger. I had this game come in at number 3, and oh boy, they just you want to talk about a tough act to follow for the remaining slate. Yeah, good luck to the rest of the games this week. I don't know if anybody's going to top that. Far and away the best Thursday night football game on Amazon Prime Video thus far this season. And I'm so happy that Alan Herbie got a damn good 5-star Shakespearean drama classic here tonight. So big win for the Falcons. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So, all right, now let's get my thoughts on this national title rematch. Considering the vast changes at both schools this offseason, we always knew the rematch of the 2023 season's national championship game would look different. That's an understatement. Washington's red zone inefficiency, a 50% touchdown rate in 18 drives, is a significant issue. But at least the Huskies are creating opportunities. I have some doubts about Michigan's run-only offense, but at the end of the day, I got to go with Michigan to win this game. Now, would I be surprised if Washington pulls the upset? No, I wouldn't. But I'm going to go with Michigan to win this one. Close game. I'm going to say they'll win it 23-17. It'll be a lot closer than the championship game in January. So Give me Michigan 23-17. So with that, we move on. Let's see. We got 3 games left on our docket, and we're going to move on now to the now number 11 USC Trojans, and they're going to be on the road against the Minnesota Golden Gophers, Huntington Bank Stadium in Minnesota. And you can find this game over on the Big Ten Network with Guy Haberman and Yogi Roth, and USC opening up as an 8-point favorite. So, Michael Bullock, I believe we started with you here. Number 11, USC. They had a bit of a rough time with Wisconsin last week, but they eventually took care of their business against them. Now they got to go on the road against a solid but not overly spectacular Minnesota team.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, Minnesota is solid but not overly spectacular. But I think at the end of the day, I think USC will handle its business. So give me the Trojans to win this one. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's talk about Minnesota. Through 5 games, the defense has yielded 484 passing yards at 4.3 per attempt with 1 score allowed to 8 interceptions. Incredible start. Also, the context. A mid-game injury to North Carolina's quarterback, lower division Rhode Island, Nevada, and awful passing teams Michigan and Iowa must be weighed. It seems USC's collective talent will decide the game, but there is clearly reason for caution here. I think USC will eke it out. I think they'll pull it out. I think Minnesota might give them some fits because it's in Minnesota after all. But I think SC will find a way to win like they did against Wisconsin last week. 31-24. I got USC holding off Minnesota. So not much more to say on that. So MF, like I said, USC had a bit of a rough time with Wisconsin in the first half last week, but we lost MF. I'm sure we'll get him back in a matter of moments. So I'm guessing he probably hit the wrong button or something. Yep, there he is. Okay.
I
All right,
apologize, boys. I hit the wrong button.
I figured as much. All right.
Yeah,
as I was saying to set it up for you, MF. Last week, USC, they had a rough time with Wisconsin in the first half before they finally got going in the second half and turned on the burners, and they took care of Wisconsin. But now they got to go on the road against Minnesota, somewhat of a tough place to win, but I think SC will eke it out.
I'm in agreement here. I think SC will eke it out. It's not going to be an easy game, no doubt about that. But I would definitely give more of a confidence booster for SC. I think SC will win the game. So nothing more to say. And yes, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Bullock led off. So
sorry.
That's all right. And we have 2 games left in our final 7:30 kickoff. This one over on Fox, a Big 12 matchup, as it will feature the now number 16 Iowa State Cyclones at home at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. And they're going to be welcoming the Baylor Bears to Iowa State. And you can find this game over on Fox. And on the call for that will be Tim Brando and Devin Gardner. And Iowa State opening up as a 12.5-point favorite. So with that, I'm going to go with Iowa State. But don't discount Baylor because Baylor has stuck around in 3 Big 12 losses. But this matchup would be more dangerous if Baylor was the home team, if this game was at McLean Stadium in Waco. Baylor has relied heavily on explosive gains through the air. So Iowa State, which has yielded 412 passing yards in 4 games, has a seemingly defined path to a win. So I am going to go with Iowa State to win this game. 26-16, Iowa State knocks off Baylor. So MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Iowa State. It's going to be a tough game. You know how not so easy these matches are. But I'm going to go Iowa State as well. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got the Iowa State Cyclones winning this one as well. So, there's really nothing more to say. I think we got the last game, Florio.
We do. And we're going to call this last game ACC After Dark because it's going to be a 10:30 kickoff on ESPN. The now number 8 Miami Hurricanes, the U, on the road against the California Golden Bears from California Memorial Stadium in Berkeley, California. Believe it or not, the College Game Day crew is going to actually be in Cal for this one. So, little interesting. And on the call for this game, I believe it'll be, I believe it's Dave Fleming's crew. Yes, Dave Fleming and Brock Osweiler, they will have it. And Miami, the U, opening up as a 10.5 point favorite. So, I believe, hang on one second, 3, 6. I just got to figure out, just got to do some quick
it's Fletcher's turn.
It is MF. Okay, I thought it was. Okay. All right, MF, you lead off on our final game of the night, ACC After Dark, the U. Oh, boy, the U. Oh, man. I mean,
yeah.
We got into it last week.
I almost went on a rage on this show because I thought that we were going to get robbed. But here's the funny thing. Everybody was flipping out saying that Miami got that basically the referees was kissing Miami's ass. How is that even freaking possible? So everybody was bitching, everybody was complaining, everybody was moaning and groaning that Virginia Tech got screwed. Virginia Tech got screwed. All this other stuff went down. I mean, I want to say a few choice words, but it's a PG show, so I'm not going to go there. I think a lot of people are going to feel like Miami got away with one. Fine, whatever. I don't give a damn. This game is going to be tough because you're going out west. You know, East Coast teams going out west doesn't necessarily mean good things, but it is a nighttime game. That's a huge plus. For Miami, you just got to play your game. Stanford's not great. They are okay, but they're not a major threat. They're not major danger. So if you're Miami, play within the system. Play the way you've been playing all season long. You're going to win this one going away. So I got the Hurricanes winning. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Miami to win this one as well. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio, you have the final say.
Miami quarterback Cam, Miami quarterback Cam Ward played for Washington State last season, so he is familiar with Cal and vice versa. How much will that matter for Cal? And how will an exceedingly rare late night kickoff affect Miami? This may be another tricky game for the Canes, although they should be able to escape after what many are calling a fortunate win over Virginia Tech. Miami wins. Final score, I'm going to say 38-31. Miami outlasts Cal. And with that, we now put the bow. This will put the bow on the Week 6 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you again tomorrow night. Once again at 10:30, right back here on the Tone 25 for the Week 5 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. You know we're going to have a bit to say about this incredible Thursday night football game tonight between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to preview the remaining games of week number 5. And oh, by the way, this is the start of the bye weeks. The bye weeks start this week. 4 teams are on bye. I'll let you know who those 4 teams are. And then Saturday night, probably around the 10:30 threshold, I'm sure, it will be the Cerebral Smack Talk. We got Friday Night SmackDown, and as an added bonus, we are also going to review the WWE Bad Blood pay-per-view that goes down this Saturday night from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll get into that on Saturday. Monday night, somewhat of a new era of Ridiculously Raw, as it is going. We're gonna be starting at we're gonna have an earlier start time. Probably, like I said, around that 10:30 threshold, because starting this Monday and for the remainder of this year, Monday Night Raw is going from 3 hours back to 2 hours, from 8 to 10. So we'll keep you posted on the start time, but we'll get into Monday Night Raw, the fallout from Bad Blood, and we start the road to Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia next month. And I'm going to also have an abbreviated Tony's Take, because we did not have a first run episode of TNA Impact. They were supposed to do tapings last week in Spartanburg, South Carolina, but because that area got heavily affected by Hurricane Helene, they had to postpone the tapings, and they actually did the tapings last night and tonight. So they aired a special show, a best of show called Best of Bound for Glory. So I will not be talking about TNA Impact this upcoming week. The only Tony's Take I will have will be for NXT Level Up. That's it. So that'll be on Monday. Wednesday, we have Wednesday Night Madness with MF over on his channel, BraceFan 95, as we will have NXT on the CW. We've also got AEW Dynamite. We may get into the AEW Wrestle Dream pay-per-view. And, of course, we will also preview next Thursday night's football matchup. Another good one. The San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll get into that on Wednesday. And then 1 week from tonight, the Week 7 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. And Bullock, we have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 main event matchups. This is the most loaded week of this season right here. We got 4 huge main events. Number 12 Ole Miss against number 13 LSU. That's one main event. But these next 3 main events, oh my. How about number 7 Penn State on the road against number 11 USC in the Coliseum in Los Angeles? That's going to be a good one. Oh, by the way, we also have the Red River rivalry. Number 2 Texas and number 19 Oklahoma. And you thought those games were big? Oh, there's actually one game that's even bigger than that. The game of the week next week, number 3 Ohio State on the road against number 6 Oregon. Are you kidding me? 4 huge main event matchups, some other good ones. We got ourselves a smorgasbord next week, and I cannot wait to get into that with these guys next week. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Week 5 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday, this is Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, and of course, always and forever, our First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday, and until tomorrow night, for the Week 5 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday, you've been watching the Week 6 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.